Gentlemen No Class is proud to be a part of the HC Universal Network. Gentlemen No Class is produced, mixed, and edited by M5 Studios.
This podcast contains explicit language and is intended for adult audiences. The views and opinions of Gentlemen No Class are strictly for comedic purposes and should not be taken literally. For instance, like this disclaimer. Now grab yourself a pint and enjoy.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of Gentlemen No Class, a podcast that when the going gets weird, the weird turn pro. I'm Jake.
And I'm Rob.
And like it or not, and we missed somebody.
Dude, seriously, I'm Ryan. Right here. It's me.
Hey, like it or not, gentle ladies and gentlemen, we are the hosts for tonight's episode.
And tonight, obviously, we didn't introduce him because we suck, apparently. Joining us on the podcast tonight is our returning friend, RyanLandrum, who we love having on the podcast because Jake thinks he has a really sexy voice. So now you get to put a face with that super sexy voice. And so obviously, by the title of tonight's episode, we are going to be talking about the Snyder Cut of Justice League, all 4 hours of it. We're going to do a scene-by-scene shot comparison through the entire movie.
We are?
The look on this guy's face right now is hilarious. No, we're not doing that. That would be really fucking funny.
Did y'all watch the movie in one sitting?
Yeah, so Ryan and Brian came over, and we sat down and we blasted through the whole 4 hours of it. I think we paused for like an intermission.
Yeah, after the third one. So we blasted through all that bad boy. So and you split it up into two parts, right?
2 or 3 days, or no, 2 or 3 parts actually, because it just came out a couple days ago. But I do like the fact that they have them separated in chapters or in parts.
Sure.
Just so Monday I watch part 1. Tuesday, part 2.
Sure.
There,
clear breaks. You can look for that break if you do need a potty break.
It is a long haul.
It is
4 hours.
4 hours. Yeah,
4 hours is a big long. So let's talk about. Let's jump right into it. So. Let's just do. Jake loves it when I say this. Let's do round robin, and let's talk about whatever. Ryan, what did you think about the movie and Zach's cut that he finally got to release?
So I don't think it was worse than the original, right? That was the big thing, is how's this going to compare to the OG Justice League? It was very different. There were things I liked about it. I liked a lot, right? Are we talking spoilers? Are we going to do?
Fucking spoilers.
Okay, there was stuff that I did not see coming, and when I saw it, when you see, let's just say Martian Manhunter pops up, when you see Jared Leto in there, there's all these things I was not expecting, and when they were, it's like, oh my god, that's awesome. You know, there were things I actually liked about the OG Justice League a little bit better, which we'll talk about. But all in all, it was good. I do not regret having sat through for 4 hours watching that movie.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, you do?
So no, I don't regret sitting through the movie at all. No, I thought it was great. I thought that one of the coolest things was them letting him take his artistic vision all the way from start to finish. For everything from using the 4:3 aspect ratio, which I thought was going to be weird, but it wasn't weird. I didn't.
You get used to it.
You get used to it really quickly.
Yeah.
And so
what was that about though? Like, why did he want the 4:3? Was it just for more information? Like, is there like something that we're missing in a widescreen?
You know what the reason?
You don't know?
I don't know.
Good question.
Me, I don't
know. It was his artistic vision, as stated by the line at the front.
Yeah, I mean, and that was.
Cool.
Hang on, I'm trying to see if there's see if we're getting any comments on our thing. So, So I mean, I think it's cool that Warner Brothers let him do it. He's pretty adamant about them. He's pretty convinced that they're not going to let him finish it out. But Ryan sent me an article that was in Vanity Fair earlier this week that it came
I think
out.
it was just yesterday. Or
Was it just yesterday?
Was it before the movie? Oh, it
I
couldn't
don't
have been
know.
because they were talking about spoilers left and
Oh,
right.
yeah.
So there's no way.
Fair. So it talks about Zack's vision for this this 5-part trilogy where it was Batman, where it was Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, and then a trilogy of Justice League movies. And in the article, he breaks down and, kind of spills the beans on everything that he wanted to do and what, kind of what the plot line was going to be of the remaining 2 movies. And after seeing the Snyder Cut of Justice League and watching or reading that article, it really makes a lot of scenes that were in Batman versus Superman make a lot more sense. That nightmare scene made a lot more sense.
It did.
Flash coming back.
Yeah,
and,
the Flash coming back.
Yeah.
And Ezra Miller with the beard, I didn't even recognize him. So, like, in that movie, like, when he came back, I was like, is that Ezra Miller? Because maybe, is that a recast Flash? I couldn't tell.
Well, that's, I guess, just in case. I don't know. Was it?
I don't know. No, it was Ezra Miller.
Yeah, because they show him again at the end of
Justice
League with that beard,
Yeah.
So
I'm glad they took away the comedic element of it. I mean, there's some like quirks. It wasn't as quirky. There was a little quirkiness.
There were some quirks in there, but
a lot of it was with Flash. And I don't know if I was talking to my friends last night about this, but is Barry Allen, the character Barry Allen, is he supposed to be quirky like that?
I don't think like that. No, I think they needed someone to provide the comedy.
Yeah,
and that's like solely his job in this movie.
Yeah, because I mean it's a lot
comic relief. That's
he does provide some but it's a lot less than like Justice League Avengers that Joss Whedon gave us, which was basically what he gave us with Justice League was the Avengers.
Oh,
you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
I got you. So the thing about the 2017 movie, it's just I saw it a couple times and I forgot a lot about it. And then when I saw this one, I was like, okay, was this in the fucking? I don't even want to say original. Was this in the 2017 one?
Right. Whedon's. Yeah.
It's just like I do know that Zack Snyder changed the color temperature, and I saw a comparison YouTube video of how they had like.
You picked that out?
No, I saw the comparison. Like someone picked it out. And,
about to say because I didn't notice that.
But like because whenever you run it back, you see it. Comedy they bring a lot of warmer tones. Where Zack Snyder and like even in Watchmen, you see a lot of like the bluish tint, and that's a little bit more of a dramatic effect. And it does set the tone a lot, man.
That whole ending sequence where they're at the nuclear reactor, they changed the whole like the sky was pink and purple in the 2017 version, and this one it was dark gray and it was dark and gloomy and things like that. And we also talked about this is what happens when you give a director his artistic vision. You lose all the cool shit like all the music. You know what I mean? If you notice, it was all very like there was no pop music in there. Like it didn't have like the White Stripes thing when Jason Momoa walks out of the bar with the bottle of whiskey and smashes it on the ground. Which I think that scene playing Icky Thump was really good. Right. I like that.
I was looking for because I remember in the 2017 whenever they resurrect Superman and he comes, he's like, "What the fuck's going on?" And he starts fighting the Justice League. Mm-hmm. Whenever I guess he's pinned up against the wall, you hear a little bit. A variation of Richard Donner's fucking original brief. Superman. I'm like, that is badass, and I wish I was.
And that was in
17. Yeah, we
2017, and I was like, that was badass. That he added, he just paid homage to.
Then they played the old Batman theme from Keaton's. They did a very brief section in there. They took them both out of Snyder's.
See, now that's kind of unfortunate. But okay.
There's little things in there that I do like the 17 version better. But I mean, they were serving two different masters. Right?
For sure.
Whedon, he was told, this is a 2-hour movie. You get 2 hours to tell this story. Snyder's done this shit. You get some recuts, some reshoots, but it's 2 hours worth of material, and it needs to not be so dark. Right? That was the knock on Batman versus Superman. It's very dark, very gloomy, all that. Whereas Marvel, like y'all were saying, much more lighthearted, much more up. You don't get so down. So and the 17 version plays out that way.
Yeah,
right?
It does.
This is DC, baby. You got to be dark.
That's true, and I agree with that. Like, so one of the things that I bought myself for my birthday was I bought a subscription to Marvel Unlimited. It's basically an archive of all the Marvel comics, and it's an app, and it's like $70 a year. So I mean,
money well spent. If you ask
money
me.
Well spent. I've already read the
legit.
entire Civil War comic line over again. I haven't read that since I
legit.
think that it came out. Now I'm reading Secret Invasion. I'm just kind of prepping myself for like the stuff that's coming in the future. And you lose, like, when comparing to the MCU, like the tone of the comics is it does translate well from the comics to the movies, because if you didn't have like a kind of a lighthearted kind of tone to it, like the shit wouldn't make any sense, because you've got like Wolverine and Reed Richards and Thor, like all these characters that are just like larger than life, and they're all just like talking and interacting with each other, and you're just like, you know what I mean? Like it's tough to make sense of it. But like in the movies, the way that they do it, it flows extremely well. You know what I mean? But in the DC universe, in order for some of these darker themes to play out, they have to play out on a darker scale, because I mean, you have themes like Batman's parents being killed, Damian Wayne being killed. Like fucking in the New 52 where Joker like cuts his face off and shit. The shit like that doesn't. I mean, people die in the Marvel universe, but like not like that.
At the end of this one, the Joker referenced the death of the Boy Wonder, by his hands,
right. Well, it happened in the comic books. I mean, he killed Jason Todd, blew him, beat him to death with the crowbar, and blew him up.
Allegedly, well, he wasn't really dead. He came back as the Red Hood.
Right. Okay. Yeah. 25 years later, or whatever it was.
But still, I mean, that's cool. So that it kind of explains what the fuck's where's Robin at and all this shit, I guess.
Well, was it Batman versus Superman that they show in the cave with the ha jokes on you?
Yeah.
So, Ryan, what did you think about this new version of Jared Leto's Joker?
I was surprised when they showed him. He didn't have the tattoos. I was like, "Where are the tattoos?" That's literally my first thought. Where's the forehead tattoo?
Well, did you like the forehead tattoos?
No, God, no, I hated it. No, but I mean, it was fine. I don't know. What do y'all think?
I don't know. It's definitely better than the forehead tattoos.
Right.
Like, that was one of my biggest criticisms of, especially somebody like that has a lot of tattoos. Like, you wouldn't just be like, "Oh, let me tattoo the word damaged on my forehead."
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just stupid. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Whoever created that, it's just a bonehead. I guess they were trying to portray him as some mafia boss or some thug with all these tattoos or whatnot. And I'm like, you're not taking the right approach for Joker. Yeah, he's sinister. He's crazy.
Yeah,
and
he wouldn't do that. He wears the makeup just to throw you off.
Exactly. And at the end of this movie, it shows how crazy the guy is. And like, he didn't need any of those tattoos. I personally like Jared Leto coming back. I mean, I didn't want him to come back because it was an abomination to the Joker. But he did it justice at the very end of this. It's like, okay, he can do something with it.
Yeah, I almost feel like the point of him wasn't to be the Joker. He was almost exposition, right? Like explaining what had happened and telling Bruce, this is who you are and this is what, it's like
the reach around.
What's that? Yeah, the reach around.
that was fucking funny.
That was pretty good. I didn't see that coming. That's pretty good though. But it was just a different role. I mean, he talked for 2 minutes. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that was
something
it.
like that.
So,
but it was really good.
No, it was. It was compelling. Like we definitely, after 4 hours, we were still watching, glued to the TV because of what was happening right there.
I think that like the biggest takeaway from this is like you can give somebody like Zack Snyder like the freedom to be able to do something like this and walk away and have people be excited about it, because like you were saying. The critical reception on Rotten Tomatoes is like 97%.
Well, critical reception, and then like the actual, like, I guess, well, that's the fan reception. What's the one with the first one? There's 2 tiers. It's like or 2 columns. The first one is like 77%.
Okay, that's the
That's
critics.
the critics.
That's the
I think that's the critics. The fans is
fans-
going to be higher than the
Fans
critics.
is like 97%.
But dude, 70-something% for this is from the critics is still pretty
that's
damn
still good. That's
good.
still good for
For a
comic
4-hour movie.
Yeah.
That's
comic
pretty
movie,
good.
right.
Considering the first one got just torn apart by the critics.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Did it?
Yeah, it did. No, it got.
Did
It got
get any
like
Razzies?
30%.
Any Razzies or no?
That I don't remember. But, the thing is, the first one, it was so rushed. It was just a bunch of stuff that happened, right? And it had a very brisk pace. This felt more like a movie. It was more dramatic. There were moments without music where the characters are just thinking, and you didn't really have that in the 17 version,
Yeah.
Well, this one you have a lot more cyborg, and it was kind of focused,
Yes.
driven around the character.
I like that.
That's
it was
fucking
awesome.
it
needed.
really
It was
fleshed out
really
that
needed.
character a lot more. It
I
made
didn't
me
get-
like him better than I liked him on the
Because he was just an
17.
add-on. It
100%.
felt like in Justice League 2017.
I did not give 2 shits about him after the 17 one, right? Because they just really they didn't get. And I heard the actor was pretty pissed.
Yeah,
about
He knew
about the
what it was
original.
for,
yeah,
what his role was for.
Exactly. And now seeing Snyder's, you're like, okay, I see why he was pissed.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah,
he
for
thought he was
sure.
going to have a much bigger role in
Oh
this
yeah,
whole thing.
and
you know?
I think that like I like how they went back and re-showed that intro part of the intro scene of all the gods coming together and fighting Steppenwolf from the 17 version, and they switched it to where it's Dark Side, really, and like he gets Thor axe to Thanos in the fucking shoulder, you know what I mean, and gets drug out of there. And they actually bring in the anti-life equation. And the only thing that I didn't, I kind of like, I'll give it to him, but whatever, is if you are handed your ass and you're a world conquering person, like, you don't remember what planet that you found the anti-life equation on after you left. Like, it's a planet. It's not like you kicked over a rock in space and like it's hurtling somewhere where you can't find it. It's like, the coordinates of this fucking planet. Like what planet this is. You should know, right?
Yeah. I can see that.
And also, was it not weird that Darkseid got his ass kicked so easily?
Easily,
I
yeah.
was very surprised
Like, wow.
by that. Like,
Yeah.
this is the big bad, right? This is the endgame guy. This is the Thanos.
Yeah.
And he got beat by the combined powers of Earth.
Zeus and Ares, right?
I
On
know,
your side.
I know,
Like,
but
those are gods
still.
themselves. So
Right, right.
Give it that. Come on.
It's true, but it was just so quick. It was like, he's like, I'm here, I'm Darkseid, I'm ready to kick ass. And then he gets obliterated.
Yeah,
I'm
but
like,
I mean,
what happened?
Yeah, but still, same thing. Like, Steppenwolf gets his ass handed to him by Superman. Like in 2017 Justice League, they couldn't even bring Superman in until like the very end of the third act because it's such a one-sided fight.
And that was disappointing to me too. That's one of the things I don't like about either version is just how, like, really it was all just, okay, Superman's back. Okay, roll the credits. Yeah. It's over. He beat the bad guy. I didn't like that. I wanted to see Superman struggle a little bit,
but does Superman ever struggle against people like that?
He literally did in the first 2 movies. Yeah. He had to go toe-to-toe with the Kryptonian and Man of Steel, and then Doomsday killed his ass.
Batman had him on the edge. Let's be real. Let's give it to Batman.
Batman did have him on the ropes.
Right. Okay, yeah. All these guys can damn near kill Superman, but he beat Steppenwolf like that. You know what I'm saying?
I don't get is that okay.
I don't think that I disagree. I don't think that General Zod had him beat. I think that it was they would have just kept fighting forever.
Yeah.
Neither one of them would have won. But the only reason he beat Doomsday and even got hurt by Doomsday was because of the fucking kryptonite, which was you talking a toe-to-toe fight without the kryptonite. Superman, they're just going to keep fighting. They're Kryptonians.
They did not know that he's a Kryptonian and kryptonite is his weakness. I mean, you would think that they travel to all these planets that they know about this guy. That's why they came back whenever he's dead. Like, okay, we have a fighting chance.
Well, apparently, like, I don't know that much about DC.
Touche. I like that point. Yeah, exactly.
Fucking kryptonite with you, man.
Pocket full of kryptonite. Wasn't that an album title?
3 Doors Down.
3 Doors Down. Yeah. There you go.
Yes, there you go.
Pocket full of kryptonite. Fucking ridiculous.
He said it.
Yeah, I mean, so we're getting off track. So
shocking.
One of the things, my biggest takeaways from this was how Zack set up this whole universe and all these Justice League movies that would be going forward, set up the backstory for Aquaman, kind of gave him that brooding, I'm not on the land, I'm not part of the sea thing, but and then they were like, oh, the Atlanteans can't breathe on land, and because that's where there's a scene where they talk about he's only half Atlantean. Oh, well, he must be a hybrid. He can breathe underwater and on land, but the men can't breathe underwater, and apparently, like they said, Atlanteans can't breathe on land, yet they drug those Atlanteans out of the ocean, and they were breathing on land, and in order for them to talk to each other, they form an air bubble underneath the ocean so that they can talk.
Yeah. That wasn't in 2017.
No. Yes, it was. It was those air bubble things. Yeah.
But there's only like one scene where it really played it. Right, it was between was it Mera?
Mera
and Aquaman.
Right, and the whole thing is like in the Aquaman movie, when he meets Mera the first time, he acts like that's the first time he's ever met her. Like, he has no idea who she is, and he gets his mother's trident. But they don't he doesn't. He in Aquaman he gets it again, and I don't know. The continuity is just off, and I don't know. Like he goes to that shrine where King Atlanta was with the the mystical trident, and he's just hanging out there. But in the Aquaman movie, it takes him the whole fucking movie to get there. He has to go through hell to get that fucking trident. You know what I mean?
That's true.
The whole continuity's off.
Yeah,
and that was throwing me. But I mean, it's Snyder's vision. It's kind of the same thing that fucking J.J. Abrams did with Force Awakens. He set everything up, and then somebody else came in and fucked it all up.
Yeah,
right.
You know what I mean? So,
but they've said the 17 is canon, right? So it could have very well happened that Whedon gets in there, he's putting shit together, and they're like, "Hey, look, Snyder wanted to do this with Aquaman. We ain't doing that because we got this movie over here. We got the script written. This is what's actually going to happen. So you need to make sure your movie doesn't conflict with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't know what happened there. So whatever happened in Snyder's, it ain't canon, man.
So one of the things that I thought was interesting was how much of the 2017 version was Snyder's. I thought that Joss came in and reshot almost the whole movie, but
clearly not.
Yeah. It was a lot of the same movie. There's a lot of lines that are a little bit different. Obviously, that whole scene of the fight with Batman versus Superman, something's definitely bleeding. You know what I mean? That wasn't in this one. You don't get the fucking edited mustache lip. Do you bleed? That fucking dumb shit. And I mean, his version made a lot more sense, like that conflict and him coming back and things like that. So, you're a big DC fan. How does this stack up? Was it something that you wanted to see? Was it?
No. Justice League gave me such a bad taste in my mouth. I wasn't really.
You should rinse that out with some of this delicious Eureka Heights seltzer.
Yeah, you're right. I will.
Or Boco Bunny, whatever you prefer.
Bunny, yeah.
I didn't catch that on camera, so.
Damn.
But
these are unlabeled cans from Eureka Heights. I don't know if y'all can see this. We got that's grapefruit. It's stamped on the bottom.
Oh, sweet! Because
listen to our last episode, and you can hear our review on the Fizzy Pants hard seltzer from Eureka Heights.
Yes, sir.
Go. I don't know if they're in stores. You have to pick up a Rad Pack.
941
West 18th Street.
There you go.
I'm getting it.
Fizzy Pants. That's awesome.
Fizzy Pants.
I like that name.
It's good, man. It
is delicious.
They'll creep up on you.
Yeah, they will creep up on you.
But to go back to your question, I love the movie. It was fantastic. I love Zack Snyder's approach to the movie. I do hope that he continues on with it. And bad movies like the 2017 one, I don't remember too much of it because I only went through it once or twice, and it's like if it's that bad, I kind of just filter it out. You know? What I mean?
And I think that this was a really good version, and I was telling Ryan whenever he was over here, because Ryan came over here and we watched the movie the day that it came out. One of the things that I thought was interesting about the whole movie was how they they let Zach do all of the things that like he wanted to do. Like apparently he didn't do any reshoots, but they got to finish all the special effects and stuff like that. There weren't a whole lot of plot holes like there normally is. Like, you know what I mean? In comic, we kind of pointed out the kind of the minor plot holes that we found, but there wasn't, you know, there wasn't a ton of plot holes. And I think that you can see like where the studio stepped in and intervened on stuff. Specifically, one of the things that I remember was the marketing material when they had announced that they had cast Jason Momoa as Aquaman. And I told you about this when you were over here, but there was a poster, and it was Jason Momoa with all the Samoan tattoos and shit like that, with the fucking trident in front of his face, and it said "Unite the Seven," and that's all it said.
Really? Okay. Because
the Justice League is 7 members, but in the movie, obviously, it's only 6. So, you know, who's the 7th member of the Justice League?
It has to be, well, there was a Green Lantern movie.
It would be Green Lantern.
But does that not make sense? Now that we've seen this, Martian Manhunter pops up, and we're like, bam, that's the 7th.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
He should have been in the whole fucking movie.
Right.
And I like Martian Manhunter is one of my favorite DC characters because he's so powerful. Like, and his backstory is super cool.
Was it not a mind fuck when it turned out to be
the general guy?
Yeah.
General Sedgwick, and
Harry Lennox, I think, is the actor's name.
Yeah. So like, and what's his in that Vanity Fair article that we were reading. He said, even Zach was like, "Yeah, he's been the general the whole time."
I love that
because I was like, "Well, is he just when he walks out of Lois's apartment as Martha Kent and then transforms back into the Martian Manhunter and then back into Sedgwick?" He's like, "You're kind of like, was he that guy the whole time, or is he? That's just his like right now. That's how he gets around kind of thing. You know what I mean? But no, apparently he's been that guy the whole time.
Yeah, I love that.
So. I like you could tell that end scene was shot at a different time because Affleck was not as swole.
Oh, okay.
His face was a lot more,
right.
a lot thinner.
Yeah.
But
I'm kidding. I didn't think about that.
So there was in that article they talk about like where Justice League 2 and 3 were going to be going, and apparently like. The plot was supposed to be that Bruce was supposed to protect Lois while Superman's kicking Darkseid's ass, and he fails to like sacrifice himself to save her, and that's where that line from the Joker comes in. I wonder in how many alternate timelines do you fail to sacrifice yourself to save the world,
right?
You know, and shit, and this happens, and then you know. But
Lois is the key to all this.
That's because she has to survive because apparently, like Superman, Darkseid's able to use the anti-life equation on Superman and make him evil because he just doesn't give a shit anymore after Lois is dead.
Yeah, what the article said, Snyder's vision for in either the next movie or beginning of the 5th one, the final movie of the 5-movie arc, was that Superman was going to go duke it out with Darkseid.
Okay.
And he gave Batman one job: protect Lois Lane. Right? And so then he goes off to fight Darkseid. And what Snyder says is that, and you could tell he didn't have the script written, right? These were ideas in his head. They hadn't gotten that far yet. But Lois and Batman were going to start arguing about something.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Well, then there was one subplot that they had talked about.
No, I'll get to that.
At one point where you're gonna talk about it.
Yeah. I'll take. So, but anyway, he gets distracted. He's no longer protecting her, and that's when she gets turned to ash. And then, like Rob was saying, that's when Superman
flips.
I don't give a shit. That's literally the only person I really cared about.
And that's why he flips it at the end of his
Red
premonition.
Eyes. Well, Red Eyes. Exactly. So, but what Rob was alluding to was another mindfuck was that one of the subplots was going to be that while Superman was dead, Batman and Lois had an affair or had a relationship.
Had a relationship.
Not an affair because there ain't nobody else. And so when Superman comes back, Batman's super conflicted because he actually developed legit feelings for Lois Lane.
So
because
are you telling me that the base of this whole fucking series is over a piece of ass? Like
now, come on.
I mean, obviously, if Superman
that was the whole thing
back on Earth, over a piece of ass. That's pretty much what it is.
Well, I'm sure your wife would love to hear you referring to a substantial relationship as just a piece of ass. But,
well, I mean, let's be real. I mean, you would think like he's alien,
Right.
okay?
Superman was willing to say, peace out. I'm done because of Lois Lane.
Yeah. Like,
right.
yeah,
Okay,
right.
but here's the thing. Like, Ryan brought this up while we were watching the movie, and this was a very good point, and I had never made this connection until then. Like, we were talking about Man of Steel, and how I told him, I was like, I didn't like at the end where, like, he has to kill General Zod, because that's kind of out of character for Superman. And he brings up, he's like, really? I like that. Tell him your opinion on that, like what you told me.
On why he killed Zod?
Right, when he snapped his neck at the end to stop him from lasering all those people, right? Because throughout the whole movie, one of the themes of the movie was, whose side is Superman on? Who is he going to identify with? The race that he's really a part of,
right.
The world or the humans,
right?
Add in the fact that Zod is literally the last Kryptonian other than himself, as far as he knows at that point in the movie. So it felt to me like Superman was having to make a choice.
Right.
Really several. Do I kill Zod and stop him from killing all these humans who are kind of like my adopted family, or do I side with him? Do I let him do whatever and then try to make it work with him because he's the last of my blood? And you could just see the agony on his face when he had to make that decision. I mean, he screamed out when he did it because it killed him so much to do that.
Right, yeah.
And that was really the point where I think in his mind, I'm siding with these people. I'm going to be their defender, their
chooses
protector.
the humans over the Kryptonians.
His dad even told him, "You're going to have to make a choice, son."
Right. Yeah, and like I had never thought of it that way. I guess. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't that deep into it, but I mean, it's a great point. I mean, I had never put that together. So, that's. I've kind of lost my train of thought after you got off onto that, but in that arc of what Zach was talking about in that article, he talks about where Batman would have to make a choice. Bruce Wayne, because he was like, Zach's kind of recounting the dialogue. He was like, Batman's telling Alfred, I've been in this cave for 30 years, and this woman finally, makes me want to give this up, and that's like, I put together this team of gods, and I can finally rest. I can step back and know that my job is done. And like, he has to sacrifice what basically his perfect life for everybody on Earth, because bringing Superman back is the only way that they're going to beat Darkseid and Steppenwolf. And that's the conflict, that Batman faces at that point. The other thing is that, and they allude to it, but that doesn't go anywhere. But the pregnancy test, in the drawer. So apparently, like in Snyder's version, after Batman fixes, they use the Flash's time thing. They do a time heist like in game, and they go back and fix the past, a la Flashpoint. He's able to right that wrong, but at the same time he's able to Superman and Lois's kid is born, and did you catch the part where he said he doesn't have any powers?
Right. It tripped me out a little bit.
Yeah, and then when he's grown, they take him to the Batcave, and they're like, your Uncle Bruce would love this if you took up the mantle of Batman.
So that was the plan. I was kind of like, wait, they're forcing him to be Batman?
Yeah. Like, you don't have any fucking powers. Right. You have no powers. We're not rich, but
It would be a Damian Wayne thing, but like changing the whole, like it's not Ra's al Ghul's daughter. That's pretty.
Talia.
Talia al Ghul.
Yeah.
Could it be one of those things, or?
I mean, similarly, I'd say.
I don't know. That's
no. At the end of that scene where he's talking to Joker, he talks about how he lost somebody. Like at first, I thought he was talking about a lover, but then Joker brings up like his parents,
right?
Reiterates again, being the dead horse, your parents died, whatever. But could it be one of those things where it was a Lois Lane reference? I mean, we're digging a little deep.
I mean, he said what he said.
I mean,
he said
it's
he said
definitely a
he's
possibility.
lost people. He's lost his mom. He's lost his dad,
Well, I think
and
he
a
said
surrogate son.
Have you lost-
He says something like that,
Yeah.
which made me think Robin right away. Jason Todd,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, but I think that like he says surrogate son, and Jason Todd was never his surrogate son in the comics. Damian was his surrogate son,
Well, Damien was his
real son.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I think all the Robins were surrogate sons.
Yeah, but I think like Jason Todd was okay. Fair point. But I mean,
But he also said the Boy Wonder, which would
was
have been
Dick Grayson.
Dick Grayson. So
Dick Grayson was the only Robin known as the Boy Wonder.
Yeah, I mean, they don't specifically name any Robin, right? In these, they never say Dick Grayson, Jason Todd.
Well, maybe his name is Robin. You know, like at the end of.
like a Christopher Nolan. Oh, go with your name, Robin.
Oh, try my real name, Robin.
Assholes.
Oh, y'all hated that?
Yes.
yeah.
I
fucking
popped big
stupid.
That
time,
was
man.
just fan service, man.
Of course it was.
but
Oh, man, come on.
You
God.
a little bit more taste, more class.
Yeah, I mean, they could have done that. I mean, that was very distasteful
Yeah,
in my
yeah.
mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and this is a no class podcast, and
Yeah,
like,
well,
that
yeah.
was
There's
very,
a lot of no class shit going on here.
that didn't sit well.
So
with
that
me.
offended you?
Yeah, that didn't
everything that's happened on this podcast, that's
it
what
did not
offended you?
offend me. I'm not cancel culturing fucking
Christopher
the
Nolan
the
and-
Nolan verse over that. You know,
they
what I
will
mean?
now because since there's no class podcast, you and I, since we don't have any pants on, we're doing this shit without our
Fuck,
pants.
no, you don't.
'Cause it's
I
like the
have
frames up
pants
here.
on because
The
this
frames
is
up here.
real weird. If we were sitting over here with no pants on.
Well, you said we're no class.
That's
You
the
know,
only reason I'm here.
Okay, well,
That's the
just
only reason
full
I'm
on,
here,
right?
fellas.
Okay, dude, look, just because we're no class doesn't mean we don't wear pants. The fuck, who doesn't wear pants? Like, especially when people are over.
But no one's over. Just us.
Whatever. Anyway, so back to the topic at hand. So let's talk about the differences in the storyline. By bringing Darkseid in, you really bring in a whole nother level of bad guy, because Steppenwolf. One of the things I really liked about this is they cut all of Steppenwolf's bullshit dialogue, all of his mother's calling and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, and it was, really like focused more on, do it for Darkseid, do it for his glory, and things
He upped
like
the ante
that.
on his fucking looks too on this one. Like
His armor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looked like a bitch in 2017.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, they made it less scary, is what they like. What I think that the whole goal was to make it less scary.
You're saying they being Warner Brothers said, man, his armor is too scary in Snyder's cut, right? The way it looks.
Yeah.
So they changed it in the 17 version in their mind to be less scary.
Yeah, to make it more, less. Yeah, to make
Which
it
I
less
don't really
scary.
get that, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought it looked cool.
I'm not a
new
child,
one.
so
Could HBO Max be the DC Black Label? Like, we're going to throw the scary, the rated R shit on HBO Max?
could be.
Well, I mean, they kind of already.
Well, because
I mean, they've already got like the
Joker.
Sopranos and shit like that on there.
No, I'm
so.
talking about for like the DC like comic movies. Like Batman blatantly said, "And I will fucking kill you."
Right,
The Joker.
that was fucking great. Didn't you say? What'd you say before the podcast? It was like, that's my Batman.
my Batman. Yes. Yes. Give him a gun. Fuck it.
That's great.
But if they're gonna pull this rated R stuff, I can see why WB don't want to throw that shit out there. But throw it on HBO Max.
Well, yeah.
that could be your DC Black Label.
That's true.
Batman ripping
I mean,
the cock out.
I mean, they double.
He did that in the comics, by the way.
It's one of those things like, who gets paid for it? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's one of those things like Warner Brothers made their money off of Justice League. HBO offered them, I think, a chunk of money to let them, release the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
They were getting paid off of it. They didn't have to.
This was win-win
really-
for everyone.
Yeah, this
really was.
They paid Snyder probably a significant amount of money to do it. They had to pay for a little bit of reshoots that he added in, and then finishing the special effects. That's what HBO had to pay for. They didn't have to pay for rights to any music because they did the original score. They didn't use any, I don't even know what you call aftermarket, third-party music, whatever. I don't know. So they were able to, get that going. And I don't know. I think that like this was an actual. It felt like you said. It felt like an actual movie and not like just something thrown together like the fucking 2017 version did.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, there was some care thrown on that. You know, it wasn't rushed or anything like that. It was.
Yeah, and it took them a while to put out this movie.
No.
You know what I'm curious about? If Snyder had been able to finish it, would it have been? It would have been 4 hours, right? Like in 17, if his version come, because he says this was my vision,
right?
But there's no way the studio would have let him put out a 4-hour movie.
Probably why he says is my vision, because he knows the studio is going to back him up a little bit, or not back him up, but trim the fat. But do you think that there's some points where we can trim the fat in this movie, or like even I could say that maybe.
Question.
I mean, there's some parts where like the Amazons are singing and shit like that.
Oh,
you
that was
probably
hilarious.
cut some of that. But,
that was hilarious. Yeah.
But like, yeah, I mean, that was a great scene though, where they knocked that fucking like the whole thing collapses into the ocean. You know, like that wasn't in the fucking 2017 version. Like they collapsed that whole thing in the ocean, and you just assume that like they assume everybody's dead, and then you know they come out of it and like he fucking flies up out of the fucking water and shit and. Yeah, I mean that was I could have done without some of we watched it with the closed captionings on, and it was lamentation singing.
Oh my god, Melissa, your wife was hilarious with that.
Yeah.
Well, the scene where he's going for the job, Flash is going for the job, and there's a car wreck, and he gets the hot dog, and he goes.
Yeah.
That could have been done without, right? There's really no valid.
Well, okay,
really?
maybe
hold on.
this is like I'm looking for a job.
I'm gonna let you cut in on this, but that scene actually introduces that chick that he saves, who was one of Barry Allen's love interests throughout the comics. Okay. That's why that scene was shot.
I get that. Okay, that makes sense.
Love interest. What were you going to say?
I didn't know that. Thank you for saying. I did not know that.
Well, I mean, they talk about it in the TV series. I think there is a love interest in like early on in the TV series, right? So it's that character. I'm assuming.
I'm trying to remember the comics.
Because
Reverse Flash kills her in the comics,
right?
Yeah.
But what validity does it bring to the story? It really doesn't. I mean,
I hear what you're saying.
Bring the love interest
but
into
it's
like
setting
a
up
Flash movie.
That probably has something to do with where Snyder was going. That he was you got to remember he was building all of these characters' backgrounds because for the Flash movie for for the Cyborg had a movie that they were going to do and then they cut it. And the Aquaman movie that I want to see Snyder's cut of the fucking Aquaman movie.
Yeah,
like because that seems like it'd be fucking way better than the Aquaman movie we got.
Would the Cyborg movie be like needed based on what we saw in this Snyder cut? Because he kind of went through the origin a little.
I mean this was basically the Cyborg
notes
movie.
Into it, just okay, he got in a wreck, bam, and alien technology is the reason why he's like this.
Right. So before we get off of it, just to go back on your Flash point, what you said puts it in a new light for me. But before you had said that, the reason I like that was, man, in the 17 version, he was just pure comic relief, like we talked about, right? I feel like that at least showed, man, he saved that chick. And granted, he was crushing on her, but he didn't have to.
Right.
In the 17 version, they kind of portrayed him as kind of a chicken a little bit. I just show up and I push him and I go.
I push people and I run away.
Right.
Yeah.
He was, I wouldn't say a coward, but he wasn't like the rest.
Right.
Whereas that scene in Snyder's showed he's actually brave, and he'll do shit other than just to be funny. I mean, he saved her when he didn't have to. You know? So anyway, that's why.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's fair.
To show a different side of him than what we'd seen before.
You like this lighting effect that I got going on about Brian when where it's flashing with sound.
Yeah.
You don't see it. Yeah, look up there. So you can.
Oh, okay.
It's nice.
Well, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. Okay. Just a little bit extra.
There.
Just the things that we do, we bring for you guys, the audience. Speaking of bringing things for people, this is going to be a really good transition. Check this out. So, down here at the bottom of the screen, we've talked about this before. This is our Venmo at Beer Me Damn It. This, if you want to help support the podcast, send us a little bit of cheddar. That helps us get merch out there. That helps us show up at Comic Palooza and make badass videos. That helps us have the time to sit around and have all this great gear so we can get so we can, sweet talk the
Bring
people
this
over at
product to
Comic
you.
Palooza and stuff like that.
We will be at Comic Palooza.
Yeah, we will be at Comic Palooza this summer in June, right?
July.
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 One of those J months. We will be out there, and Eureka Heights will be involved. So we know that there will be some fantastic prizes. We're probably doing trivia. I think is what we talked about. Possibly.
I mean, that's the plan. It's still early. We're kind
we could
of
change
premature ejaculating here.
Premature trivia ejaculation on that.
Yeah, so we
Okay.
don't know exactly just yet.
Fair.
But
But there'll be
that.
something. There'll be something
little
for
lewd.
prize winning. We do like our game shows. We've done the Jeopardy thing and the Double Dares.
we have good traction with that. I think.
I think last year we had a packed house at Comic Palooza. So
2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah, RIP 2020. But I think that we when we did the MCU trivia, that was a lot of fun. People were, I mean, we had a really good time with all the fans that showed up there and did that. That was such a good time. I think we should do something similar to that again.
I think it's a win-win. Yeah.
I think it's anything Marvel is so big right now. I mean, you can't really go wrong with it.
Maybe. Well, I'm not going to say it because that's going to. It could be in ideas. Someone's still in ideas, but we can. I don't know. Should I bring it up? Maybe
Don't
we should
tease us.
Maybe we should
Don't.
do a compare.
Yeah, pull the
tease us,
cock
man.
out. Let's see
We
it.
should do a compare and contrast. I'll pitch the idea of doing a compare and contrast to the Snyder Cut and the 2017 Justice League.
We're doing that right now.
I know, but I mean, we'll get an audience involved. We also talked about the damn Marvel movies, and we did those
True.
episodes, and we still did the trivia.
That's true.
I don't know. I don't know if you know too much about you're not like on the Marvel level with
Dude,
DC.
no,
so I
I'm
don't
not.
know. So,
You're gonna have to carry that one. Like
fine.
I can
Never
carry
mind.
the Marvel
Never
stuff
mind.
typically, but
Steal it, whoever's watching.
yeah, have it, take it. So
I think that brings up an interesting thought, though, because
Sure.
you're saying DC is far behind Marvel, right?
oh, for sure, I think so.
right. It's obvious.
Yeah.
If Snyder had been able to release his version of the movie, how would that have changed the course of where they're going with this? Because right now, what I heard is that DC is off of this whole big timeline thing. Like right now, they're thinking more like individual movies, right?
Yeah.
Not this big integrated universe thing. That's what I
Where
had
everything's
heard.
connected.
Well,
Would
they-
that have changed if Snyder had been able to do his and had been successful instead of bombing like the 17 version did?
Well, I mean, what was our feelings with Man of Steel came out? We were like, this is. I thought it was the best movie out there for as far as on the DC under the
I thought it was
DC
strong.
umbrella.
I liked it.
And then it got mixed reviews on the Batman versus Superman.
Right.
It was still good, I think, but a lot of people didn't like the length of it. They're probably thinking Zack Snyder was losing traction, and they were hoping for Justice League to come out and hit it, out
Right.
the park. But I guess what was the reason? His daughter died or was sick or
She
something?
committed suicide.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Terrible.
So I don't know. That's hard to say, man.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, okay, and I feel like an asshole for asking this because I don't know the answer. Endgame came out what year? 2019?
It's 18.
No,
No, sorry, 19. Endgame was 19. Yeah.
Okay, so if Justice League Snyder Cut
Yes.
comes out, because they had to delay it for Joss to finish it, it got delayed by 8 months for him to do the reshoots.
Right.
So let's say Snyder's Cut comes out 2016. Justice, it's like you're saying, it's successful. What, 2 years later? So 2018, they released Justice League 2. Now, with Endgame being the time heist, like, this is the same thing, like the Flashpoint, time heist thing. Do you feel like that's like somebody treading on somebody else's shit? You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like the way Snyder laid it out. I mean, you say time heist. Endgame completely revolved around them going to different points in the past, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
It was like a
not just
highlight
plot
reel.
wise, right? Not just plot wise, but time wise in the movie. It sucked up so much time. Whereas Snyder made it sound like in his version of what was going to happen is literally Flash going back and saying, "Bruce, protect Lois Lane. Damn it, do it this time." You know what I'm saying? And that was it.
yeah.
So I don't think it would have been that big of a deal. You got to go back in time, yeah, but It's comic books.
Yeah,
That's
comics,
what you do. You know.
But according to Marvel, going back in the past will not change the future.
Right.
So I guess the rules of time travel work differently in the DC universe.
Well,
Touche.
like when Joker mentioned something about 7 timelines.
Yeah.
he said he didn't say 7. He said how many alternate timelines.
Which is interesting because how would he?
He's cognizant of the multiverse. You know, they
Which is why he's nuts. Is that
yeah,
what
so
the theory is?
that's no. You bring up a good point because in the comics they talk about Joker having what's referred to as hypersanity, where he's not insane, he's hyper sane, and he is aware that he is a comic book character, and there are multiple timelines and multiple realities. That's why he is quote unquote crazy. He's actually what they call hyper sane.
That is crazy.
So
just a theory.
there's
Though.
a fact.
Just a theory, though, right? They
have said
DC
that.
has said that.
Yeah, yeah, that was in some episode of some comic episode. Something. I don't know.
Interesting.
So
we don't think DC would have made up any ground even if Snyder's had come out in 16 or whatever.
No, I think
and had been successful.
I think they would have made some ground. I think they backtrack with this 2017 Justice League. Again, it's hard to say, man.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder, man, he doesn't skip a beat with Watchmen. You know, I mean, everything he hits is gold. I think. You know,
I don't think I realized that Zach did the Watchmen.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen it? Right?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
I haven't watched the show, the series.
Oh, okay. No,
but no, yeah, like I've watched the director's cut and shit of the Watchmen. That's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Sure. So, how about this? Because I like several of the DC movies, right? I liked Shazam. I liked Joker, right? These are DC branded movies,
but they don't happen in the same universe.
Well, Joker, I don't think Joker does.
I think it's going to be. They said it's not tied to anything, but if it's going to be tied to anything, it might be tied to the Batman.
Okay, right, which will be separate from all this other stuff, and which goes back to my point. I think DC is trying to just do kind of like not all integrated. It's all just their own thing, right? But I like Shazam. I like Joker, right? Wonder Woman was pretty good. I liked Aquaman.
Yeah,
I liked these movies. But are we saying DC is so bad because their bombs have bombed so horribly? Like, you know, Suicide Squad, Harley Quinn, and you know the 17 version of Justice League.
Yeah,
you know.
Is
that why we say, oh, they suck? Marvel's great, DC, you know.
I think that the reason that they suck is
because Marvel set the bar really high.
I mean, they did set the bar really high. But, I mean, go back and watch those movies. Suicide Squad, not that great of a fucking movie.
I didn't even fucking watch them because I knew that by the trailer they sucked.
Yeah. Now, James Gunn's version of Suicide Squad.
You're excited about that, aren't you?
Ridiculous.
Yes.
But it looks good because it's got King Shark in it, and I love King Shark. But yeah, I mean, like just
love James Gunn.
I do like James Gunn. And John Cena as Peacemaker.
I'm a wrestling nerd. I cannot wait to see John Cena as Peacemaker.
And he's getting his own series also.
Yes, I'm like, how is this happening?
Yeah, I don't
John
know.
freaking Cena.
Well, yeah, I mean, and Peacemaker is such a ridiculous character.
Yeah.
I mean, his get-up is just fucking ridiculous.
He loves peace so much, he's willing to fight for it.
Yeah. But, I mean, you look at... I think the biggest problem... Okay, this is where DC took a misstep. They had a fantastic movie right out of the gates, just like Marvel did with Iron Man, with Man of Steel. They had Henry Cavill on contract. They came out. They had a great plot line. They had Superman committing to Earth. They could have done a Batman movie. The problem where DC misstep, where they took their misstep, is by rushing to Justice League. They rushed Batman versus Superman. Come on, that in the comics there's so much built up. The reason in the comics that even happens is so much conflict between, you know, Superman's arrogance at that point and Batman trying to, you know, knock some humility into him, and he succeeds with the help of Oliver Queen, Green Arrow, one-handed at that time, by the way.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Well, let me tell you why.
But hold on. Let me. I get that they were trying to like catch up, but I mean they should have known how difficult it was going to be to try to, you know what I mean? Like Marvel was already like 14 movies deep at the time Man of Steel came out. I mean there was no catching them. Like just do your own shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they were trying to compete. They shouldn't have been. They should have just been doing to do.
Right.
And that's where I think
that's where they
missed
fell
it.
for sure. I mean, you need those origin stories if you're going to make a superpower team like the Justice League.
For sure.
But this is the same company that brought in the Bat Nipples with Joel Schumacher Batman.
Dude.
But this is Warner Brothers and their idea
it's not
of
my
whatever the
Batman.
audience wants isn't what the audience want. It's probably what sells, and that shit sells to the kids, and the kids is to the masses.
But I think that's the thing. Like they made Man of Steel, and it's like, holy shit, this is really good. So why didn't they just keep stepping with that? Like
Because they wanted a rush.
But hold on, are we saying? I'm confused because I thought Snyder's thing he wanted. This was his vision. I thought was the 5 movies.
Yeah,
this wasn't Warner Brothers saying, "Hey, do this." This was what he wanted.
But still,
so you're saying
cutting the checks.
So you're saying why didn't Warner Brothers say, "Snyder, don't do this. This is what you need to do." You know what I'm saying? Because here's the other deal. I was just looking up the years. I think we were all confused about why Superman versus Batman. Why not give Batman his own movie and then bring them together?
Yeah, well, you need to have a Justice League first. I think whatever. It's not whatever.
Part of me wonders if so. Dark Knight Rises came out in 2012.
Right.
Okay.
Batman vs Superman was 2016, which means they knew they were going to do that a couple years before. So I'm almost wondering if they're like, dude, they just finished Dark Knight trilogy and it was amazing. Why reboot now? Why reboot?
Exactly.
Why
so
not
just bring fucking Christian Bale into it.
That would have been cool.
Just bring.
But you like
fucking
Ben
merge the
Affleck. Don't act
Nolanverse.
like you don't like Ben Affleck. You love Ben Affleck.
I like Ben Affleck, but I don't. He's okay as Batman. Like I think he's a better Bruce Wayne than he is Batman. But I don't know, man. Like I don't. He's like the way they made his Batman is. He's just so like stocky. Like he's just like broad shoulders. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
no, he doesn't.
I don't know. Like I really like. I told you that while we were watching. I really like Jeremy Irons as Alfred.
Sure. Oh, he's great.
I really like J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon.
Yep.
And I was showing you those pictures. He got super slow.
I think that was Photoshopped.
I don't know
that had to
why.
have been, man.
It's not.
He was
not.
slow as hell.
You've seen those pictures of J.K. And they're all over there.
And dude, he's like in his mid-60s.
Yeah.
70s.
For him as
Steroids are a hell of a drug.
Commissioner Gordon or J. Jonah Jameson.
J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
He is that character.
Right.
Like,
He really is, yeah.
I don't think that anybody could. And I think that Spider-Man and the Marvel Universe did a great fan service by letting him be J. Jonah Jameson again in the MCU.
But don't you think there's some multiverse shit that could be going on there that we don't know about yet for sure? You know, like there may be a more method to the madness there than just, let's just do it to pop the fan base. You know what I'm saying?
I have my own speculation theories on
Okay.
this.
All right. I know we don't want to get off topic too much.
But I mean, my whole thing, like, I'll just throw this theory out there. You want to talk about clashing of multiverses together and, you know, where one wasn't aware of the other and they get thrown together basically. Go read Secret Wars, because that's when, I think it was 2015, that's when the Marvel Universe and the Ultimate Marvel Universe actually physically in the collided with each other, and that's when there was the death of both of those universes, and I think it was the Beyonder took them to Battleworld and made them fight each other. And then they rebooted the whole universe over again. So I think that they could do something like that where it's like the Fox universe and then the MCU and then the fucking Fantastic Four cojones. They all like clash together, and you know what I mean? And then they all on Battle World, and then they all get like sucked into one, whatever.
One cojone.
Secret World or Secret Wars.
Secret Wars,
Check it out.
Right.
What were we talking about? We were talking about.
Well, I think we were talking about the difference between DC's approach versus Marvel's. And one point I did want to make is that it seemed to me like DC's approach was just different from Marvel's altogether. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's like we can't copy what Marvel did. they're too good at it, So instead of building up to Justice League, they use Justice League as a launching point for these other characters, right? Because, Wonder Woman had already come out, but Aquaman hadn't. So Justice League was our first exposure to Aquaman, Flash, and Cyborg, who at the time, the plan was to give them their own individual movies, right? So I think it's just a different approach.
Well, what you're playing on Flash now, right? Because Cyborg really doesn't need an origin story because it's kind of already thrown into this one.
Yeah.
Aquaman already has his. Flash, we're just waiting on that movie to come out, right?
I think so.
But would you do an origin story? I don't think you need an origin now.
I don't think you. Now, damage already done.
That's an oversimplification.
Nice callback to the line.
Yeah, but I think with the Flash, you have to do an origin story, at least some kind of origin story to explain what the Speed Force is.
Unless the next movie,
even if it's just this is Barry Allen and I'm the Flash, and then do like they did, back in the day at the beginning of the Flash TV show. You know what I mean? Where they had like a quick voiceover. I'm Barry Allen. I'm the Flash, and this is how it happened. You know what I mean? Just like a real quick explanation of that, so that the general viewer gets the gist of what the Speed Force is.
Do you think the Flashpoint paradox is off the table in the next couple films?
Nah.
So
it shouldn't be
off the table.
It shouldn't be
right. So if they touch that, then that's where they can bring. I guess it's gonna be Flash center driven movie.
I think that they should, and I heard that they are doing another Constantine movie.
Yeah. I don't know how that
without Keanu Reeves. Well, because it's DC.
Yeah. But I mean, I was just talking about the Flashpoint, but
Constantine has a very critical role in the Flashpoint paradox.
Okay, yeah.
Explain for our listeners and me,
dude. I don't remember, but it's
and me.
Somebody fact checked me. I mean, somebody fact checked me. I'm telling you 100%. Constantine has a very critical role in the Flashpoint paradox. Go read the comic.
Just trust me. Just trust me on that.
You got to fucking.
I'm not going to do your work for you. Yeah.
Don't be lazy.
I can't give you all the fucking answers. This ain't school. You're not copying off my paper.
Sorry, man.
I like that.
Didn't mean to call you out like that.
Yeah. Thanks. I was like, man, I haven't fucking read that comic in a long time.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Well.
Anyway,
I didn't know that either. That's why I was questioning.
Anyway, so back to the Snyder Cut. I think we've hinted on everything, but let's just go around. What was your favorite scene in the Snyder Cut?
There's this one scene a friend told me about yesterday when he were.
Is
Barry
it a friend
Allen
we
goes
can
visit.
mention by name?
No. Barry. What happened?
A friend that we can mention by name or no?
Oh yeah, no. Will. Yeah, my friend Will.
Oh, Will Rogers.
He was on.
Okay.
He was a guest on a previous episode, but I had to rewind it because, damn it does sound exactly like that. But and he kind of brings out the type of character Barry Allen is. So Barry Allen is visiting his dad in jail, and the fuck was that? Is that one of your strings that busted?
Yeah, I think a string on one of my guitars just popped. That was really fucking weird.
That's crazy. That was Barry Allen saying, "Don't fucking diminish my name here," right? But no, so he talks to his dad, and the dad's getting called by the guard, time to go, and then the guard says, "Close the gate." But if you listen to it, it sounds a lot like his dad saying, "Don't be gay."
I heard that. I heard it.
And I'm
I did.
That's so Barry Allen now,
Yeah.
the way he is. But it's hilarious.
Okay.
That wasn't really my favorite scene, but my favorite. I mean, I don't have a favorite scene, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah, you're putting us on the spot, bro.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
You got to tell us these things beforehand, man. I got one. I got mine.
What's your favorite? Well, then I'm not putting you on the spot. It's all good then.
Well, no, the one that jumped, because it's the one that springs to mind right away. The scene is Lois and Martha are having a conversation in Lois's apartment about why she's not being a reporter anymore and all this stuff.
That's not Martha. That's the Martian Manhunter talking to her.
Are you going to let me finish the
go
story?
ahead.
Are you going to let me finish my story?
Is that the one where she's like, "I don't need your fucking help. I
My
I
bad.
didn't come here
Exactly.
to live with you."
Direct
Yeah,
quote.
okay,
Exactly.
okay.
And so you're like, in my mind, I'm comparing this to the 17 version, right? Because that didn't happen in the 17 version.
Right.
So, okay, so they decided to go a different way. They're having this conversation instead of the one they had in 17. I don't really understand why, but whatever. And then Martha steps up, walks out the door, shuts it, turned into Martian Manhunter. I was like, what the hell just happened?
That was a good one.
Blew my mind. I was not expecting that. That was great.
That's a good scene.
Yeah.
That was mine.
Rob?
I knew it. I knew it. That's why I wanted to go first.
Second favorite scene. Fuck, I don't know. God damn it.
Sorry, man.
The black suit Spider-Man. Superman.
Black suit Spider-Man.
So you've been reading the books. Do you know where did that suit come from? When did he first?
Oh, in the comics?
Yeah. Where did he first come?
So the black suit. Okay, here we go, guys. Let's get deep into comic history. On the black suit Superman came from. It was first introduced within the Return of Superman comic arc. So in the Return of Superman comic arc, it starts with the death of Superman as he's fighting Doomsday, which I think should have been its own movie. I don't think they should have thrown that into Batman versus Superman. That was really stupid.
The death of Superman and the fighting of Doomsday. All in one? Yeah.
So, Doomsday and Superman fight each other to the death. And so in the Return of Superman comic, I'll just give you kind of a general breakdown of it. Four Supermen show up claiming to be the real Superman. There's the cyborg Superman, no relation to the actual cyborg from the Justice League. There is the Eradicator Superman, who has all the memories of Superman but none of the compassion. And then there is Superboy, who's a clone of Superman by Lex Luthor. He has different powers, though. And then there's John Henry Irons, who is the man,
an African American,
the Man of Steel. Shaquille O'Neal played him in a movie, I think it was called Steel, wasn't it?
Yep.
So anyway, all these guys claim that they're the real Superman. None of them are the real Superman. All this time, this all has to do with Mongol, who's a yellow alien guy. I forget what his exact. Anyway, so the big plot of this thing is the cyborg Superman is like this asteroid hits and wipes out fucking LA, and it starts building itself into an engine, and he's gonna the cyborg Superman's actually bad, and he's going to basically these engines are going to move the planet to a place to where there's a whole backstory that anyway, it's not really important. You can read the comic arc, but basically the gist is that the Eradicator was a Kryptonian kind of like sentry watchdog kind of thing in the Fortress of Solitude that kind of popped to life when Clark Kent and Superman died. And he didn't really die. He just exhausted all of his power. So he kind of fell into a coma, but people didn't know what that was. And Doomsday, they basically just beat each other till they passed out. Neither one of them died. So the gist of the story is that Superman's been in a regeneration matrix chamber at the Fortress of Solitude for, X number of time since the death of Superman and the Funeral for a Friend comic arc. He wakes up and gets into one of these Kryptonian battle suits, and it's basically like he's suspended in that amniotic chamber or whatever inside of it, and it's controlled by his mind. And it's marching across the bottom of the sea, to Metropolis, and it pops up in Metropolis as all the Supermen are figuring out that they need to go after, to fight the cyborg or whatever, and Lois is there, and it kind of drops him out of it, and he's wearing the black suit, and he's got the mullet, it's all wavy and shit and curly, and he's like, I'm Superman, and Lois is like, I don't think you're Superman, because all these other Supermen have been claiming to be Superman and trying to prove, the cyborg has some of Clark's memories, but not all of them. And I forget how he does it, but he says something to Lois. I think it's to kill. He tells her to kill a mockingbird, and she it takes her breath away.
Right.
And he tells him, that's your favorite book, and how could anybody but Clark know that?
Right.
So anyway, it's the battle to save Los Angeles, and they have to fly to go get there. And Supergirl can turn invisible. I don't know if you know that, but she's kind of in a relationship with Lex Luthor at this point. But she's Superman's cousin, so she flies Superman invisibly there, to kind of
make it look like he's flying.
Yeah, but he has no powers, and he has made it clear that he has no powers.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's Hal Jordan that's with them. Green Lantern, but he can't fight Mongol because he's yellow. And if you know anything about the Green Lantern arc, there's the reason that the Green Lantern ring is weak against yellow is because on Oa, the Green Lantern planet, Parallax is imprisoned inside of the giant Green Lantern at the center of the planet. So it has a weakness to yellow because of that. Anyway, so all that battle's happening. They're battling for Los Angeles. They're trying to win. The Eradicator doesn't know who he is. He thinks he's Superman because when he wakes up, the Fortress of Solitude, kind of like when Jor-El is giving Clark all this information and gives Lex all that information in Man of Steel, kind of the same thing. And so he assumes that he's Superman, the last son of Krypton. But when Clark comes back and he kind of like in the last ditch effort, he kind of figures it out. But the Cyborg has this giant piece of kryptonite, and then this giant piece of kryptonite, he has it like pressurized basically, and he's gonna fucking, I forget how the build up to it, but he's gonna fucking spray Superman with this fucking like a water hose of kryptonite, and it's, I mean, obviously that would kill him, and he has no powers at this point. And the Eradicator jumps in front of him, and because of the Eradicator's like body build-up matrix or whatever, it like filters that kryptonite and reverses the radiation on it and hits Superman full blast as it filters through him and gives him all his powers back. And then he fucking kicks everybody's ass, and then he's back. And then, so he's wearing the black suit for that.
This whole time.
Yeah. But he doesn't really wear the black suit after that. He has a hard time regenerating his powers after that, and they can't figure out why.
So clearly that was just to pop the comic book people who knew that storyline.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, was this shit rehearsed? Like, did y'all talk about this before? Like, hey, ask that question because I'm about to go on a fucking 15-minute tangent.
No.
And he very detailed.
I was
man.
like, I've
Props
unleashed
to
the
you,
beast.
Man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think I'm gonna do my own.
That's one of my, like, outside of I would say that's probably my favorite DC story arc is the death and return of Superman. It was so well written. Yeah. I mean, it was so easy to follow because there weren't that many. Like in Marvel, like when you do like an event like Civil War or Fear Itself or Secret Invasion or whatever, you have to read like 20 fucking books to get everything all going. And there's all these characters involved. But with this, like it was a trade paperback, number one, so it was all in one, but it was only like 4 or 5 books.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they did doubled issues and stuff, so I mean, it was pretty easy to follow and watch, and there wasn't a whole lot of like extra people involved, like I don't think Batman Bruce Wayne was involved in that at all. I mean, in Funeral for a Friend there was like the whole DC universe shows up for that, but in this, like it was really easy to follow, and then like I said, that's probably my favorite DC story arc. So yeah,
I think that segment deserves its own like Snyder part, like part 10. Fucking Rob goes on talks about the black suit or something. I'm gonna edit that in there.
Just edit that into the Snyder Cut.
Like, boom, yeah, exactly. That's good. That's legit. Nice.
Well, did I even say what my favorite part of the movie was?
I don't remember.
No.
Yeah, no. You asked about the black. No, you asked about the black suit and why he was having the black suit.
You're welcome.
Favorite scene in the movie. I don't know. That nightmare scene was pretty fucking good, man. And the Slade Wilson scene with Joe.
Oh yeah,
what's his name?
Deathstroke, right?
Deathstroke.
Deathstroke. Yeah. So you remember what the Vanity Fair said about that? Not to cut you off, but what they said about that, right?
Remind me.
It was supposed to set up the next standalone Batman movie with Ben Affleck, with Deathstroke as the bad guy.
Oh no shit!
And then that fell apart. So
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, now they got the Batman.
Yeah, so I mean, like, well, it'd be interesting to see if they, with the critical reception and popularity of this, if like they actually get to do any of these cool things with Snyder, like his Justice League 2 and 3 and stuff like that. He owes
it to us now.
Oh, he owes it to us.
He owes it to us now, for sure.
So,
no, I don't agree.
I don't know.
Owe it? I don't know. I don't know about
owe.
I mean,
I'd want to see
he made
it.
any shekels off this or no?
Oh,
I
for
hope
sure.
So.
Yeah, okay.
I really hope so.
If he didn't, like, I'd be pissed.
No, absolutely.
I mean, they dropped what was it, $70 million to do this, to make this happen?
Really?
Yeah, I heard it was something like $70 million.
No.
Yeah.
He has a fucking eye for this shit, dude. I hope he does.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
And DC needs to get a guy like Kevin Feige so they can.
they do.
That would help.
That
would help.
That's the
Yeah.
reason why Marvel.
Kevin Feige had all this shit mapped out for, that's why it worked. There's been very few missteps in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There are a couple. Kyle pointed out that the biggest one is at the beginning of Spider-Man Homecoming, where it says 8 years later. It really should be 6 years later.
Yeah. But if you're going to pinpoint every little thing like that, you're not really.
Right,
know,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
You
Every
like,
movie
I mean,
has
there's
those
always gonna be
things, yeah.
mistakes.
Especially a world that big.
Yeah.
Change it in the fucking DVD release,
There you go.
Yeah. Anyway, on that note, I think that we have really buttoned this up and talked about the Snyder Cut. Is there anything we missed?
I don't think so. Okay. Just do y'all think he at some point makes the last two movies? Do you actually think it'll happen? Now, do you want to? Do you actually
No.
think it'll
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't see it happening.
Well, the fans called out and he delivered because of the fans. The way it looks like the fans are going to call out again, and they're not going to let him rest until it happens.
And you think he'll answer it? Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, it's one of those things. Like, I guess we'll see when it happens. But thank you guys for joining us. We
pleasure.
appreciate Ryan. It's always a pleasure having
Yes.
you on.
Anytime.
And if you ever go to like the clubs and you hear like coming on stage is Angel Dust, that's the face.
That's the face behind the voice. Angel Cinnamon.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I like
He's saying that you have a
No, you have the voice for radio.
He's saying you have a. He said you have a
what?
voice and a face for radio.
it. Shit. Story of my life. I love you, Rob.
All right, and on that note, I've been Rob,
I'm Jake.
I'm Ryan.
and we have been Gentlemen No Class. Thank you guys for joining us, catching us on the live stream, leaving us your comments. Make sure you like us on Facebook, like us on Instagram. You can follow us on Twitter, but we don't really post there.
Go to YouTube.
Go to YouTube, subscribe to our channel for all the great cuts and things like that. There's a lot of stuff going on this year you want to be a part of. I promise you want to be a part of. We will catch you guys on the next one.
Here we go.